Good night, good evening, good morning, good day, everyone. Our fans out there, lovely fans who have been tuning into us every week in, week out, and commenting on us. We're back again for, I believe this might be our third to last for the season. We never know. But anyway, we're winding down the season, and today we have a new foreign correspondent and a surprise guest, and we're talking about the WTA finals. No, sorry, the ATP World Tour Finals. Sometimes I can't even tell the difference. And the
Hey,
just keeping it real. Just keeping it real. Before I go any further, let me introduce my co-host. And I am nothing without these ladies, as they fully well know. Karen will back me up on this for sure. We have a lovely Andreen, solely tennis travel, and she's traveling. In fact, she is in foreign territories right now. She's in jolly old London. How are you?
hey.
And we have, as always, our foreign correspondent, not from Cincinnati, but from Ohio, Janina.
Because Cincinnati is nowhere near Ohio, right?
But you're not in Cincinnati, but you're in Ohio, right? And
I am.
our host, our final, what's wrong with me today? See, I was going so good. Yes. Bridge me, Karen, from The Spin.
Hi, good night.
And we have one of our favorite guests. No, sorry, not guests. Favorite fan who is always looking out for our podcast and always tuning us. The lovely Debbie. Can I call you Debbie? Debbie Taylor.
There you go.
I'm going to call you Debbie.
Hello, how's everybody doing?
Hi. So happy to
So
have
great
you.
to be on with
Yes.
you guys.
I know you splurged and went to London and you didn't invite us. I'm just simply saying, but you know what? We give you props for that. So you're gonna see Federer and you're gonna see Nadal. You're gonna see everyone over there.
Wait, what do you want to know from us?
Oh, I wanted to know. She splurged and went to London without us. So that about. I'm just saying, my calendar was very, very open to be in London, but apparently no. I thought I was sure. There is a weird sound coming from you. But yes, ladies. So as always, we have ladies. So this week we had the final roundup of the Fed Cup Finals, Russia versus Czech Republic. And we had the beginning of the ATP World Tour Finals, which I think started on Thursday with the most ridiculous draw ceremony I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I swear
Oh
to God,
my
this was worse
God.
than your uncle getting drunk.
I'm
at
so
your
glad I have a job.
You know what?
I'm
I'm
glad
about
I have a job so I don't have to
listen.
watch all this nonsense.
I'm going in hard
So I can't contribute to this conversation. I don't even know why I'm here tonight.
because we
Oh,
love
Oh, you
you.
should.
You're just here to bear witness, Karen.
That's right.
I'm bearing
Exactly.
witness. Okay, good. 'Cause
Okay, first of all,
I was watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
you know what? You probably did not lose as many brain cells watching that as I did watching the draw ceremony. I am so serious. It was painful. I don't know who elected the mayor of London, but Boris. Maybe it's the name Boris. I don't know. That man is. He looks like a hot, drugged, strung out mess.
With a scoop of garbage on top.
His hair, he looked like he just got out of bed, but he definitely was not having sex. Because
Lord.
Look,
he,
this is
no.
how you know. I mean, first of all,
Bad.
had this man from the ATP, I imagine, come out and say, first of all, they started late. Okay?
Yeah.
And everyone assumed that, they were starting late because they're having all this to do, chattity bullshit. And we just get right into the thing when we come online live. That was not the case. Because we have the chattity bullshit beforehand. Anyway. Then, sure enough, this man comes out, someone from the ATP, I presume, and he said, we have made the most money ever. And I'm like, really? And people are still struggling? And people are match fixing? I mean, if they're getting the most, like, who's getting all this money? And apparently, the lower ranks are broke anyway. Then they got into the real thing where they started picking people. They had, I don't know why they choose to get the mayor of London. Usually the people who, I mean, they don't bring out, Mayor Bloomberg to do shit when he was here at the US Open. They didn't bring him out for this. They didn't bring out Mayor Dinkin, just got a seat and just waved when he was here. I mean, they don't put politicians involved in this shit. They just take a seat in the back like everybody else. You got a
You guys,
whatever.
Boris could not even say the players' names because, of course, they didn't know who was going to be there, right? They didn't have time to practice.
Well,
There's only 24 names they had to learn. Only 24.
I heard he forgot his glasses. That's what
Well, he
happened.
should have had a seat in the back. Then if you forgot his glasses, pick somebody else. I mean, first and foremost, it sounded like they were in a pub.
Listen,
Because
I'm going to channel my inner Brad Gilbert here, and I'm going to tell y'all that the mayor of London looked disheveled.
You used it well. You used it in a sentence well.
For me, I swear,
Accurately
when you go into a dive bar and someone is having karaoke up there, someone is just like someone is strangling a cat or wall, and everyone is just like, yeah. Seriously, I don't know where the hell they were having this draw ceremony because it sounded like it was a tavern, like a pub.
Y'all, it was bad. It was bad.
What do you call it?
It was sloppy and messy and unorganized.
Exactly.
The players are coming up on stage, and he's like, "Oh, can you scoot down? Can we start the line over here? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you there. Can I have you here? Oh yeah." And then everybody, they do the doubles draw first, and everybody gets up there. And do they interview the #1 team in the world first? No, they go straight to the Brits.
That's what it's about, people.
And what's crazy that all the players are behind there looking on like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, it was like they didn't even know they were going to come up on stage.
Oh man, it sounded like we need
That's
to
why Fed was giving the dirty look.
It was bad.
I saw a picture of Fed giving somebody a real dirty look.
There were many dirty looks given.
Because at any moment you didn't even know if you think he was going to get it wrong. Because at one point, I felt like they would have to do it.
Can you explain to me what button did Rafa push before it was due to be pushed?
Oh, so they spent like a whole 10 minutes talking about
God.
the app they were gonna launch. I mean, like I don't know what the fuck is this scoreboard. I don't know what kind, but we're gonna launch some new app for the ATP World Tour Finals, and Rafa just had enough. He was not. I don't believe. Truth be told, Rafa had never show up at this event. He don't know how things really work here. So to him, he was like, man, on the button, I press the button now. It was just a shit show.
It was a fucking mess.
It was a plug.
Hey, but the good news is it's going to be there at least until 2018. So we get to do this all again next year, and hopefully it'll be better. Woo!
Meanwhile, what was trending was that the world was just like, this man is a piece of shit mayor. This man is a hot mess. And my thing was just like, this man didn't inherit this job. Somebody voted him in. So as much as he looks like a piece of shit and he's a hot fucking mess.
Yeah, the man was elected because he could give nice speeches. Probably not elected because he's an effective politician.
Look,
That's who he has been.
That's a space
in London 2012. He was just as disheveled in London 2012 ceremony.
Okay.
I spoke with my British friend, and she says that they send him to do all the stuff that Cameron doesn't want to do.
Oh, Lord. Oh, man.
So anyways, aside from the show, let's talk real quick about how everyone actually looked.
Well, I thought everyone was dressed well. The ATP, you can't fuck up a suit, right? You can really.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. And you know what?
Federer.
Federer just in general looks out of place. He just looks like, I don't really know why I'm here. Like, I don't belong here.
Look. I'm just saying, they don't make boys suits. I mean, Gucci do not make boys suits. You have to okay? I'm
going to tell you.
Part of it also was the placement on camera. You know, the group on the left was placed in the right sequence and order per based on their height. The group on the right wasn't. So who told everybody to put Federer to the very far right?
Because he doesn't belong. They had him and Nishikori on the outside wings because they don't really belong there.
You know what? On Nishikori's side, it worked out because then they increased in age. They increased in height. But unfortunately, they put Federer next what the fuck is that? Like, tallest person.
Well, you know what? If I were any of them men, I wouldn't want to stand next to Berdych because he looked good.
Well, you know, the problem was they wanted to put Stan next to Federer because, you know, if Federer's not there, we don't know why Stan's there. But so they put those two. So I don't know why they put those two in the middle, which then left because Stan is short. So then Berdych in that other side, awkwardly standing, lumbering right to the right, and then
Nadal looking like he's gonna go right now. He's like, I've had this shit. Like, what the fuck is this shit? I just wanna play. Like,
well, and you know, Novak and Rafa apparently don't know how to properly tie a tie. It was sloppy around the neck. There was shirt showing behind it. It was loose, and it just wasn't good. Federer always wears a suit really, really well. Rafa looked as good as Rafa can look with his thinning hair. Stan looked great from the neck down because he's got that banging ass body. Cricket's my ass. He looked good. But then you got to look at his face, and that's not so good.
Yeah, cool.
Andy can wear a suit, but why didn't he shave? Come on, Maz. Shave your neck, dude. It's the ATP World Finals. Shave.
You know, my problem though is I remember better pictures.
They didn't. I feel like they didn't take like posed pictures like they typically do afterwards.
What about those pictures when they used to put you in that? They used to put you in that fake background, and then you'd sit down, and then you'd sit down behind the number one.
Yeah.
Like, what about all those fun posed pictures?
It didn't happen.
You can't do that shit in a pub down Skid Row. I'm telling you, this is where they had this draw ceremony. This was not held in some posh hotel.
Of course, after the singles draw was complete, who did they interview first? Take a guess.
Andy Murray.
Andy Murray. Who did they interview second? Roger Federer. Then they talked to Rafa, and then they finally got around to talking to the number one player in the world, Nole, and I felt like they kind of cut him off quickly.
The man Andrew Castle was just like, you know, Rafa's gonna come to you just now, you know, don't wait.
Oh,
man.
Like,
it was bad.
I'm sorry I missed it.
Look,
don't be.
It's a mess. Like it was a mess, but it's because I too went online to watch it.
It was a mess,
and I couldn't watch it, so I was just enjoying my timeline.
It was funny. It was funny. I mean, Stan was giving people the side eye.
Why?
Like, who the hell knows? Who knows? Whatever. He's always looking crazy. He looks crazy during his matches. Nobody knows what's going on in that head.
Federer was just like,
I think he did something well. He was the one that put in a vest, right? You gotta have a vest. That helps.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't pay him that much attention.
Well, I'm just simply saying, you know, at the end of the day, I say, you know, as much as the men are a little bit sloppy, they kind of put a little. I see a much far more effort than I see from the ladies dressing up. Maybe it's
true. Well, that's because it's a suit. A suit is a suit. It is what it is. So, anyways, I'm not happy that it's not Group A and B, but in my head, we're going to talk in Groups A and B. I don't even know.
Yeah, let me just get into this goddamn stupid shit.
Sam Smith, Il Nasty? What is it? What?
I don't know.
Amelia Nastasi. Then you had the Stan Smith and Arthur Ashe group. And you have the John McEnroe and Peter Fleming group.
Oh, like from now on, we're simply going to refer to the groups as the Federer group and the Andy Murray group, okay?
Hey, that works for me. So how do we feel about the groups? In the Federer group, we have Nole, Federer, Birdie, and Key. Do you like it?
You know what?
You know, actually,
I would have preferred. I really like it when Federer's in a group with Andy Murray.
Do tell why.
A lot.
I just
Hey, let me tell you something. The world would not stand for another beat down like they saw last year World Cup final. They're not having that shit.
We wouldn't have minded. I mean, actually, when you look at the groups, I do actually think that the Federer group is. I think it's a good group. I think it's a solid group. I'm happy that they get to meet in round robin as well. But I do think it's nicely set up for a possible Fedal if it happens. Like, talk about setting that up so you have what you want. You have the possibility of Fedal, or you have the possibility of a Stan versus Djokovic. So, nice setup of the groups.
As much as we can want, I mean, like, there was a possibility where one group could have been loaded. Like, it was just like, Jesus Christ, like, who can walk out of here? But no, like, it's going to be like a World WTA final, 1 or 2 getting into the semifinal. But,
yeah, so.
Just keeping it real, people.
I'm okay with the groups. I'm okay with them.
I thought it was quite balanced. And then the other group, you had Stanley, Andy, Nadal, and Ferrer. Somebody's making this sound. I mean, let's be 100% here. I think we can say Ferrer is going to be the buy in that group.
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Ferrer traditionally does very well at the World Tour Finals. He can, and that's not a bad group for him to be stuck in. Those are people that Ferrer would not have a problem competing well with.
I mean, in terms of, like, they would not necessarily hit him off the court, but he will be prying them out. I mean,
he's there's no way Ferrer. Listen, remember last year, this court is playing exactly the same as it did last year, and the only person who really sort of grinded out a match and was somewhat compelling was Ferrer. So Ferrer is in a very good group for grinding. He's not going to get beaten.
I don't even like how that sounds. Oh boy. Okay, moving on.
But think about it.
I mean, like,
the members of his group.
I mean, that is a fair assessment, I do think. But I do think that, to me, like, he is the weakest link. I mean, like, I would like to believe that.
I don't think he's the weakest link. He's the weakest link in that group, maybe.
Right, in that group, I think. Because I would like to think that Andy, Stanley, and but you know, I mean, like, you have to always give Stanley the side eye because you never know what's gonna show up in a tournament, right? You never know.
No, you don't.
So I mean, and Murray is kind of questionable, but I mean, it's gonna be an interesting group because it's gonna be like, I'm interested to see if anyone can win all 3 of their run robin matches.
I don't believe. I think
Nadal can get out.
The group is set up in such a way that I really don't feel like, aside from Nole, I don't feel like anyone is going to comfortably win their matches. Mm-hmm. I don't really see that happening.
You mean anyone winning all 3 matches? You mean?
Yeah, I feel like it's going to come down to sets and games won. I really feel like the groups are split enough for that to happen.
Well, let's hope that Federer's shit show happened in his first game today, and there'll be no more of that.
Listen, well, you know, I think that Kay's performance ensured that Federer and Berdych had breathing room, right? Because they definitely have breathing room. Because Kay, won 2 games?
Not one.
Can't get any worse than that. So you're
he could have gotten double bagel because Nole had breakpoint in every single one of those service games.
Oh my God. Okay, so like honestly, I turned on the TV expecting to catch some Fed Cup, and Nole and Key were on court, and I saw that the score was set 4-1. I literally laughed at the TV and I walked away and I didn't watch anymore, and I was like, I'm not gonna put myself through another Novak beatdown.
You know what's funny? It's interesting, sometimes I think tennis people, it's almost like they're goldfish. Sometimes they have either they're goldfish, they have, insane memory loss, or they have, like, selective memory loss. Because everyone was like, yeah, Kay has a chance, Kay beat him Indo, he beat him 6-love in Basel in 2010 or 2012 or something like that. And I was like, y'all know this Nole is not fucking around with people these days. He's not fucking around. And it's just like someone just like, oh, he's gonna win. He's gonna take him to 3 sets. I mean, like, you mean win 3 games in the match? I mean, like, K was fighting from the jump. And again, I'm just like, K, why are we trying to rally with Nole? Why are we trying to rally with Nole?
It's just
not
stupid.
going to work. I mean, like, and I mean, to me, at that point, when you feel like, I know it's difficult
what
to
else
get it.
Do on this court? Because
Well,
isn't that K's game?
But
It
I mean,
is. It's not going to work,
thing
though.
exactly. My thing is just like, at some point, I mean, like, it's not working. I mean, it clearly wasn't working.
So what do you want to do? To serve and volley?
Yeah, that's the question I'm asking. Yeah, what is the option? People, I saw. Wait, let me ask you this. I saw everyone because I got off the plane and I couldn't check scores because whatever, things were kind of chaotic at the airport, and I was like, you know what? I had this dream in my mind on the flight that I might get off the plane and find out that Kay pulled off the impossible and actually won the match.
You silly girl.
I did, and I was like, I started giggling.
Jet lag.
I was giggling about it. But I eventually got to data, and I didn't see any crazy hoopla on any part of my social media, so I knew that didn't happen. But all I could see was people talk. I mean, all I saw were people telling me that this was the moment when they really understood why Nole was annihilating his opponent, because he made the court seem so small, and he just makes other players play horrible tennis, which of course is never a compliment, because there's nothing worse than losing and then forcing the person to play ugly tennis. So Nole,
take a ball.
Congratulations on doing that, because that used to be Rafa's game, but now that's apparently your game. So good for you. Ugly tennis is never a good thing for you to make somebody else play. But so I was listening and I kept thinking to myself, well, what could Kay have done? What strategy did he not change his strategy midstream? What would you have liked to see him do?
Anything. Well, that's just it. For me, I thought that I would have liked to. I'm imagining that him and Michael and I don't know the other guy's name, they had some kind of strategy. But to me, it was just like someone just put Kay out there, just like, boy, go try your best. Try your best. And if your best don't work, just don't retire. Because, I mean, like, he kept, there was some brilliant points he tried to play. But again, it's like the Andy Murray match, right? Winning brilliant points don't mean shit. You gotta win brilliant games. And he just, I mean, like, there was no plan B, and it was just like, it just wasn't working, and Nole just knew that, there was nothing you can do.
So are you saying that he was trying other things that they weren't working?
Yeah,
he wasn't trying anything to me. To me, it wasn't even doing anything, and I know no.
What wasn't working? Was his serve off?
He wasn't serving
very
well.
Okay,
Deborah watched the match. Okay, let's tell me, Deborah.
He wasn't serving very well, and he was hitting the ball too short. And he rally with Nole, and that was ridiculous. Nole was like, okay.
Hey, exactly.
And he knew that he had him because that's all he did, and he had no plan B.
What would have been a plan B? What's a plan B for somebody like a K?
That's just it. There isn't one. The only people that truly can have a plan B are people who have a variety in their game, aka Roger Federer.
And I think Nadal, in some respect, has a plan B at times. Sometimes.
Has lefty spin that sometimes gets on people's nerves, but most of the time he's playing the same game too.
Yes.
But he's just better at it, and the lefty spin adds a little bit more complication for Nole. But when you're hitting that ball as flat as Kay was hitting it today, Nole was coming to Papa, and he was just.
So he basically needed to play with spin then.
Yeah, he would have needed to play with a little bit more.
And at time probably tried to change it up in the sense, try to rush the net a little bit. Like he wasn't even trying to be taking an aggressive step.
Kay is horrible.
Kay can't play the net.
Kay's horrible.
Well, you know what? He was horrible from the back of the court. I'm like, move.
You see, and
give it a try.
And therein lies the problem with today's game, because in a perfect world, as much as we are all Fed fans here, there's nowhere 34-year-old, who his fans lovingly call Gramps, should be competing in this era in the way that he is and changing up his game. I saw a tweet earlier, I think it was from Andrew Burton, that said that Jim Courier said that the saber was the first new shot in tennis since the swing volley in the 80s.
Oh, Jesus.
And that's something that, that we need to probably look at, maybe not in this show, but the fact that the lack of variety, the women are always criticized for playing either banshee ball bashing tennis or power tennis, but, and then you have one or two people who play smart tennis because they have a backhand slice, and they come to net, but same thing.
Well,
the same thing permeates the men's game, and to my mind, it's even worse because I sat here for the last 10 minutes trying to hear, because I didn't watch the match, trying to hear what did Kei Nishikori, an up-and-coming ATP rising star, a Grand Slam finalist, and a finalist at the ATP World Tour Finals, what could he have possibly done to not get breakstick today by the world #1? And nobody could, apart from Deborah, who told us that his balls were landing too short and he needed more spin. The consensus seems to be amongst us is that Kei doesn't have a plan B. And it's not because he doesn't have probably somebody whispering in it. Maybe the men should have on-court coaching.
No,
somebody to come down courtside.
Karen, you cut that shit out right now. Karen, stop it.
Look, Kei needed diagrams and paper.
Maybe the men do need on-court coaching.
No.
But I would tell you something. I think Andreen and I were at US Open and we were watching the juniors. I know about several junior matches, and she and I were watching one junior match in particular. And I swear to God, it was between Mikael Yamir and a Korean guy. I don't want to fuck up his name. But nobody came to net. I mean, like, literally. These
the ball back and forth.
Back and forth from the back of the court, standing like, as farthest back as they could in the back from behind the baseline. They couldn't come to net. And I mean, like, they want powerful hitters. And I mean, they tried to bring that shit on the ATP.
When they got a short ball, they didn't know what to do with a short ball. What they would do was they would hustle back. I mean, instead of putting the ball away, they would sort of hit it right back to the opponent and then retreat all the way back and then bang the ball again.
Let's not get too far off. We've got two people that are in London that were at matches today, so let's get there. Talk to us, ladies.
Okay, so let me just say that this is Deborah's first time coming. You all know that I've been coming to the World Tour Finals since 2009.
I think you're a selfish bitch. You never told me.
So, but Deborah's an active Federer fan, and I said to Deborah, listen, even in Fed's worst year, which was 2013, he made it to the World Tour Finals, and he got to the semis. So you can rest assured that Federer will perform at the World Tour Finals, so get your ass to London.
Amen. Amen.
ATP Viagra going. He got his ATP Viagra working for him.
It's always, and I didn't know if it was going to move out of town, and you never know where the hell they're going to ship this thing. Right. So I was like, get yourself to London, and so Deb got herself to London, and give us your first impression, Deb.
Well, it was awesome to be here. I've always wanted to see Fed play in London. Of course, my dream was Wimbledon. That's not happening. I was really excited, and I was also thinking, oh, if they move this to Shanghai or Istanbul or someplace like that, it's highly unlikely that I'd get to come. So I was really anxious to come while it was in London. It's a city I've been to before, and I was just so blown away. I was so happy it worked out that Andreen could kind of guide me through the actual getting to the O2. But it was I had the worst possible ticket, because I hadn't bought a ticket until I was here. And but it was great to be there. It was great to see him play. Of course, when he got broken in the first I thought to myself, I didn't come all the way to London to see you lose to Burditch of all people. Fortunately, he was managed to right the ship, and he was pretty much, you know, it wasn't the smoothest game, the smoothest set, the first set, but he kind of settled in, and he had some amazing shots, and that just had the crowd cheering. And you know, it's so interesting because I had watched the Novak and Kay match from my hotel room, waiting for Andreen to get here, and thinking, you know, the crowd was practically asleep. They were practically asleep. But when, you know, the excitement when Fed takes the court is like it's like nothing else. Even if it's, you know, a match like that. So
you could feel it.
You can really feel it. You know, it was packed. It was packed. There were crazy people singing to the tune of Amazing Grace, you know. Roger.
Yes, sing it. Come on, girls, sing it.
They had Fed Cup. I mean, I'm not gonna name any names, but you know, some person like Twitter feed complained about the fact that when she went to the O2 shop, they had tons of row of Swiss flags, one row of Japanese flag, and you know, they promised to put out Spanish flags later, but there was just absolutely no Serbian flag, and that is not.
This, my friend, is your world number one.
Yeah, and I, you know, I was listening to the commentators, and you know, when Kay got on the scoreboard, and they said, and of course the crowd went wild when he won that one game in the first set, and the commentators were like, well, we know this is not an anti-Novak cheer. This is just a cheer because people want to see some competition, and you
bullshit.
Novak takes it personally. I thought this was very sad. This is a very sad commentary that you've got commentators talking about the fact that the world number one takes personally when other folks cheer, when folks cheer for the other player. I thought that.
Well, let's be real though. They're cheering against Nole. We saw it live in living color at the US Open.
I mean, I don't understand why he takes this so personally.
Because it hurts his feelings. Believe it or not, the Serbian devil has some feelings, and they get hurt.
Yeah, it hurts his feelings. Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, like, let's be 100 here. Serena playing like crazy crowd. I mean, Serena be showing up in the US Open and they're cheering for somebody else, and she's American. I mean, Serena has won.
But she doesn't. No, but she doesn't get that every single place she goes. Where in the world can Novak Djokovic go outside of Serbia, where he is going? I said outside of Serbia, where he can go. No, it doesn't even exist anymore. But he's not going anywhere else where he's going to consistently be the crowd favorite. Or even sometimes it just doesn't happen. So, oh Nole, let me play you a little violin.
And also the other thing, I mean, the thing to understand too, because you know we were all we were there tonight, and let's be honest, it was not a clean match. No. It wasn't. It got better in the second.
Messy.
Not for Berdych, but for Federer.
I know.
But you know what people were waiting for, and this is what you come to understand when you see Federer live, is that everyone wants to have a Federer moment.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's a 6-1, 6-1 set for a Federer match, people are wanting to respond to the magical moments that they know are coming. Yep. That doesn't happen in a Nole match. So a beatdown, it feels differently for the crowd because there were moments where the crowd tonight were gasping at a couple of those rallies and a couple of those shots and the drop shots and just changing it up. Yeah. Giving them something different and not the exact same rally, because when you're there was a high level of expectancy. I can express that feeling in the crowd. They were ready to sing. They were ready to cheer for Federer. They were ready for him to win, but they weren't ready for him to win any ordinary way. They wanted to see something special.
No, I think you just made a very, very, very valid point. People want to have their Federer moment no matter what it is. They really want it. And you know what? The truth is they want it even if he loses. They just want to say, I saw him play, which is why it's kind of a big deal that he and Rafa might play, because people want that moment too. Even if you're a Federer fan, you want to see them two play. They do. You want that. You want to be a piece of that history.
Not me.
Okay, so tell me, Reels, you've got tickets, front row, courtside, to see Federer and Rafa. Are you turning them down?
I'm not turning them down, but
I
I'm
know
telling
you're not, so zip
I
it.
don't want to see that because you know what? I'm gonna be a hot mess in that front row screaming like, "Fucking Federer, the fucking
Okay, wait, but the other thing.
No.
Okay, so let
I
me
can't
say.
be that person."
So the next matchup we know because of the results of today
Right.
is that on Tuesday we're going to get a Federer versus Nole match. Now let me tell you something. I've been talking to a couple people. No one is convinced that Federer is going to win that match. Yet they all want to see that match because they want to see how he plays that match.
Oh, I would see a Federer match.
You know what it's like?
Because I think Federer has a better chance of winning that match.
Yeah, but it's not even about the win. This is what I'm telling you. Because if it was just about winning, then people would be cheering for Nole. It's about how you win that matters. That makes everyone uncomfortable to say that because supposedly you can't make a point that somebody plays a different brand of tennis than other people. That's just what's happening. And we all just, so it's not, that's the thing. Everybody feels like Novak is stronger, more powerful, faster, whatever. And that maybe Federer might have a good shot on the surface indoors, mostly just indoors, not the surface. But they want to see what Federer is going to try because they know he's going to try things.
Oh, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I understand how the fans want this. I can, and also from just tennis as we have been describing it to be, it's sort of turned into that cliche, long, protracted back and forth. You're just moving your head one side to the other side. But when you have people who play variety, then you're more allowed to be involved. It mixes it up, and I get all of that. But for me personally, I don't enjoy Federer versus Nadal matchup because I know it would be a quick match either way, win or lose. I would watch a Federer versus Nadal match over watching a Nadal versus Djokovic match. But for me, as a fan of Federer, I don't particularly like it because I don't
like either. I don't like it because I don't think I've never thought that the matchup played to Federer's strengths.
No.
Right.
So it made it's like watching basically Rafa.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen them two play live. It's an electric atmosphere. It is amazing because people love Rafa, people love Federer, people cheer, and it's just fun. And I was fortunate enough to see one of their better matches played, so it wasn't lopsided and ugly and a beatdown. It was competitive and it was good. Yes, Federer lost, but it wasn't ugly. It wasn't like, oh my God. It wasn't like French Open ugly. So maybe that, I don't know. But for me, I was like, hell yeah, I want to see that.
Well, I was fortunate to see Federer do it with a bagel, and it was fabulous. So, you could say it was lopsided like the Nole match, but it wasn't. It was sure damn pretty. But anyway, so I think we're really excited. But this is one of the drawbacks of live tennis, right? We had nosebleed seats. Mm-hmm. It was all accidental because the only guarantee you have when you come to the World Tour Finals is that Tuesday, Wednesday ticket. That if you buy those 2 days, you're guaranteed to see your player. But the other days, it's a fucking, train wreck. You don't know. So we did not know Federer was going to play on Sunday because traditionally, Andy Murray's group plays on Sunday because the BBC gets coverage of the afternoon session, mind you.
Right.
And usually it's Andy Murray Sunday afternoon. So poor Deborah is boarding her flight. As they are doing the draw. I text her and said, hey, are you going to get tickets to see Federer? She's like, I don't know. So she ends up in nosebleed seats. But
the tickets are expensive?
No, the tickets are not expensive at all. They're expensive for us because we are Americans and the pound is kicking our ass. It's like $1.50 for a pound. So,
wow.
But I wasn't certain what was going to happen, so I sort of just bit the bullet and bought a ticket to Monday night before the draw came out, just hoping against hope. But instead, I'm gonna get Rafa versus Stan, which is okay. But that ticket, it's on the upper level. It's about row K, I think it was, and I paid £28, and that translates into about $50.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And you get two matches, right?
Yeah, you get the doubles
You
and
get
the
the doubles,
singles.
yeah.
Yeah. And let me just say, the most competitive match of the day involved Fabio Fognini. That is some shit, basically. That is
Oh, but, what do you guys think? Do you think it's shaping up to be like it was last year, where the doubles was actually more intriguing than the singles?
I hope
I'm
not.
going to say so because I hope not, but I kind of think so because Bopana and Magoo, I think his name is, just beat the Bryan brothers in straight sets.
Oh,
They were
did.
they were
Oh,
straight up.
we missed that
They were
because
all over them.
Yeah.
we were in transit to get to the Federer match, so we were
They
in
were
transit, so I missed
all
it.
over
Yeah, that
Mike
was
and Bob.
interesting. You know what else
Mike
was
and Bob
interesting?
they didn't look out of sync though. Perhaps because they haven't played together.
They haven't
They
played
been
in a
playing for a
while.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of out of sync. But I mean, like Bopana and they just got in last week after Paris.
Well,
'Cause they
because
had to
somebody
wait
just
for
had a baby. Like, he's not thinking about that crap.
Well,
I mean, I know
can
that, but I'm just
can I offer an alternative? Can I offer an alternative take
Yes.
on? Just like the Bryan brothers are dominant number ones because very few people play doubles consistently.
But they're not the number one anymore.
Exactly. A
Right.
certain person is also number one because very few people are consistent as well.
Exactly.
So
Uh-oh.
once you have the level of competitors rising, you will begin to see what people are actually capable of.
Right. Someday that will happen.
Is that
No, I agree. Moving on. I'm not trying to have anybody slip my throat today. So, ladies, what's next on your London agenda? Agenda, you like that word? That's foreign.
Wait, for you fans out there, Deborah, tell them what you did today.
Yesterday,
Deborah, what did you do yesterday?
Yesterday, I spent the entire morning at the Harry Potter tour, which was a fabulous experience. It was all of the original props, costumes, all of the extra special effects, everything for all 8 movies.
Wow.
Oh wait, I don't like them movies, but I can't hate other people.
I'm a huge Harry fan, and they said, "Oh, the tour can take 3 hours," and I thought, "Yeah, right." Well, actually, I was racing through at the end because I had to meet the bus to take me back to London. But we spent 4 hours.
Wow.
There, it's so much to see, so much to do.
What was your favorite?
Did you get a wand, Debbie?
Well,
Did you get a
I didn't get a wand. I am a huge fan of the 3rd movie, The Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah, I know. Everyone says that was the best movie ever.
It was the best book, and it was also was my favorite movie. Some fans kind of differ on that because he veered off a lot. It was more symbolic. But
as a non-Harry Potter reader and just a movie watcher, it is the best movie.
It is really it is a real movie maker's movie. And so I loved all of the props. I love Remus Lupin, so everything having to do with him. Great picture of that bridge with he and Harry, where he tells Harry about his parents. Oh, it breaks my heart. The Mirror of Erised, I stood there forever.
What did you see?
I actually saw my own reflection, so I guess that.
All right. You are who you're supposed to be.
60-something, going to Harry Potter and the tennis. What can I say?
That sounds like a dream vacation. I'm so incredibly jealous.
Was there food for you to try on, like the
Did you have some butterbeer?
No, it's too sweet. I had it at the Wizarding World in Orlando. It's too sweet. But they had it decorated for Christmas. So the Great Hall was decorated for Christmas. And how they made the snow for the movies for that period. Lots of the Yule Ball.
Oh, you should know that American and English people make sugar products completely different. So it might be a different experience if you have it in England as opposed to having it in America.
It was great. So they had Starbucks at Harry Potter.
Oh, Jesus. Starbucks is everywhere.
Yeah, they have Starbucks, but apparently these motherfuckers don't know how to dress properly when going into the Muggle world, right? But they know how to get.
So tomorrow we're going to continue another fabulous English tradition. We're going to have afternoon tea.
with the queen.
Nice. High tea.
We're going to have high tea, and then I'm going to abandon Deborah because I'm going to go watch Stan beat up on Rafa or the reverse. Any questions about the tournament from like a non-attendee?
I'm assuming it was easy for you to get to the event back and forth.
It was really easy.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, we have the two map. It's right off the Jubilee line, so that's the wonderful thing. It's almost like going to the U.S. Open. For anyone who's gone to the U.S. Open, it's very much in that vein, which is that you get off the train and there's only one place for you to walk, and then you're right there. So it's
cool.
really easy.
What's the food like on site?
What's the food
What's
like?
the food like on site?
Lots of restaurants. So we actually had Brazilian barbecue.
Barbecue in London?
Yeah, it was actually pretty
We have
good.
Brazilian. There's usually there's a Wagamama, which is like I think a local British kind of food. There's a French restaurant. There are also Japanese restaurants. There's some burger joints. There are actually a bunch of food available in the
Is there
site.
something for everyone's price point to eat on site?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, I think in total I had 2 drinks and a full meal, and I spent £20.
Oh,
Which-
okay.
Which I think is real. I mean, that's okay. That's probably about like what, $35
I
maybe.
bought a hot dog, French fries, and a Coke at the U.S. Open and spent about the same thing.
Right.
You can't tell it a lie. That is the absolute truth.
Is the staff friendly?
Yeah, the staff's very friendly.
That's very friendly.
I mean, to be honest, that's probably the only time you're going to see black people. The black people are all staff.
Oh, wow. The help.
Yeah. Black folks sitting around.
There are lots of black folks in the crowd, but the black folks are overwhelmingly on staff as well. And some young people.
I want to ask something. So, I mean, you talk about the price and everything, but you're only basically getting there's a morning session and an afternoon session and a night session, and in essence, you're only getting 2 matches. Do you feel like money is well spent in such an event per session?
You're seeing the top of the top. You're seeing. It's almost like you're seeing a bunch of people who could be playing quarters or semis, in any other tournament. So when you think about how those are priced, it's probably comparable. So you're not paying for 6 matches where there are people. This is not the time to see new and upcoming people. You're going to be paying. You're going to be seeing the top people. So you figure you're paying for that.
So you're paying a little bit more for a ticket, but you get to see the elite players, so it's worth it.
And I think it's worth it when that's why I think it's really important. I know a lot of people have been talking about the courts. I do really think that they have to explore that because in a weird way, for some people who I've come a couple times and I have spoken to a lot of people, and some people will come to the O2 and never get to Wimbledon. Because for them, if Wimbledon feels out of reach, they feel like they'll never see these top players at Wimbledon because you can't get tickets oftentimes for the main courts at Wimbledon. You'll get outside courts, so that means you're seeing people who are on outside courts. So here, people will actually spend the money to come in. And so to my mind, I think it's really important for the tournament to think about the quality of tennis they're encouraging at this point in the game. Whatever they need to do with the surface, taking in consideration what rackets are doing or all of that. I mean, they really have to think about the product of the World Tour Finals. Like, you can't have a 6-1, 6-1 match. I mean, as much as it would be delightful for me to say that, you're having the top 8 people play. So, however that needs to shift or whatever that means, I don't know. It's a difficult.
I think it's time the ATP have themselves a World Elite trophy and pick the next people from below and have them in Zhuhai, wherever the hell they need to have it, because clearly
you might end up with more competitive matches.
You wouldn't,
yeah, exactly. Because
it
ain't cute. It ain't cute.
That's a fair question, Janina. You know what I mean? When you think about it, basically, to my mind, tennis is kind of, in this scenario, it's kind of like right? You've got like the match.
Say that again.
It's like an evening out because you've got the matches, like especially say the evening match. Like it started at 6, and then you get the singles match. So Federer was pretty fast tonight. So you started at 6 and it ended at 9:40. So you get about 3 hours and 40 minutes worth of entertainment per se. That's what they're promising you for your money, and it's supposedly the top teams. So, and
at least with Fed, you can be assured that even if it's a beatdown, you're going to have some nice-looking tennis. You're going to have something different. You're going to have some different. You're going to have some drop shots. You're going to have. Even though the Sabre was a little rusty tonight.
The Sabre was a little rusty.
Do you know? Statistically, it's like less than 50% effective. But I think what it does is plant a seed.
It's a head game.
Yeah.
It's a head game.
Which is why it essentially works.
And it's not just, it wasn't just for Burditch, it's for the entire week that could happen. So I think it was important that he did it. At least he did it several times.
And it was a delight for the crowd because, again, when the Sabre happened, the audience gasped. And they were like, "Oh, I saw the Sabre live." I saw the Sabre live. Yes. So, again, it's the idea that you're bringing a new product to the table. People need to understand that tennis it's great to win, but you also have to understand that it's your job to entertain. And I will say that Federer did point that out in his speech after, when he was getting his award, that was something.
More than one, please.
His awards. He did indicate that was always something that was interesting and important for him, was not just to win tennis, but to try to bring a sense of creativity to the. So we always have to understand that it's an audience. You're there to entertain the crowd.
I think it's time that
on Edinburgh too. So it was great to see Edinburgh, as it were, there together. So it was pretty terrific, and I was not expecting that. I thought it might happen Tuesday.
Yeah, me too.
So when they brought it all out, it was just really fantastic to see it. And
look at you! If just the one day you got your own.
No, I got all fed out. So it was wonderful.
Deborah, are you gonna be there for the entire week?
No, I'm going home. I'm actually going to try to see if I can get a ticket for Thursday because it looks like that's going to be another Federer match. But I go home on Friday.
No, I don't think so. Is it right? Sunday.
He'll play
Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. Yeah, you're right.
I'm gonna try to, but I have to do it because they can't do it online with an international credit card. So I'll have to try to figure something out. But we'll see. I'll try to see if I can make that happen.
I just gotta say, Federer, I think it's time you do the Oprah thingy and remove your name from this tournament because America just got too many vases at home. There's too much of this shit in her house. Like, look, she's gonna have to start giving this to guests when they come over for brunch or lunch. Like, here's a vase.
They got a lot of houses, so.
Spread it around, Beverly. Well,
we should probably move on a bit. We should probably move on, right? Because we want to keep this nice and tight, and we should end with the other thing that happened this week.
The other major event that happened this week is there are a whole bunch of challenges and whatnot going on, but we're not really concerned about that. But what the major thing was that we were supposed to have Maria Sharapova, crown herself, put herself in that elite company of winning the Grand Slam and career Grand Slam and have a Fed Cup to boot. Because apparently, all of a sudden now, Fed Cup and Davis Cup matters so much.
Karen, remember I asked you about Fed Cup? Was it 3 months ago?
We had this discussion.
Oh, we're back?
Yeah.
I asked you, I was like, what is does Fed Cup matter in people's legacy? But apparently this week it does.
It does.
I told you.
And I was sickened by my timeline and the tweets on my timeline, how important, what a fantastic, and all of a sudden this is the best Fed Cup tie ever.
Oh Jesus.
Really? Not since Italy has played some fantastic
Fed Cup. Exactly.
I mean, I've seen a whole lot of great there was one in Switzerland and Brazil. That was a really fantastic Fed Cup.
But they're not in the final.
All of us.
Well, here's the thing.
And let me ask something. who brings their candies to sell at a Fed Cup?
Maria Sharapova, because
oh my God.
she showed up so that she can play the Olympics next year. Svetlana Kuznetsova should have been on that damn team. And anybody who thought that Russia actually had a chance to win is crazy. The Czechs come out for Fed Cup. They keep winning. That's what they do. And they're good, and they're deep, and they're strong. And just because Sharapova tried to show up and act like she was going to do something didn't mean they were going to win. And obviously, I'm right. Yeah.
I didn't watch. I watched the first part of one match because I had more important things to do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
because you knew that the Czech Republic was going to win.
I just couldn't. I honestly, I didn't care. I didn't care who won. I really did.
Well, you know what?
Venus wasn't playing, so it didn't really matter.
When I landed, I think I looked and I saw that I thought Russia was up in the third, in the doubles.
It didn't matter.
I think I watched every. I know I watched every match. I didn't watch all 5 rubbers. I did.
Oh my God.
Reels is no the WTA spokesperson.
I know. I need a real job, people. Anyway, Sharapova did what she was supposed to do, and I mean that she was supposed to win their singles. The problem for Russia has always been and would always be who was going to play the second person, who was going to be the second singles person.
No. Russia has depth. Russia has, despite what is happening, Russia has depth. It's not because of Sharapova why they got to the finals.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying about because Russia had both sides were carrying walking wounded. Makarova wasn't up there. She wasn't going to be. She was the number 2 player for Russia, right? I'm not mistaken, right? She hasn't played for a while now, and she's been on and off the injury list. She was slated to play doubles, and she didn't play. Kuznetsova looked kind of out of sorts because she was just coming off an injury. She won Kremlin Cup and didn't really play well in Zhuhai. She was exhausted. And so though they had a lot of people, and just like the Czech Republic did, I think it was also a toss-up for who would be the second person.
This was supposed to be Sharapova's crowning moment.
Yeah, well, how'd that work out for you?
And I'm surprised that I am actually surprised that Czech Republic didn't put Barbara Strykova instead of Pliskova to play Maria. No.
Well, there you go.
They put BZS exactly where she was supposed to be in the double. Oh God. Right. She carried that team. I didn't even watch 1 point, but as long as all BZS needed was somebody with a serve. That's all she needed. And Pliskova is no slouch in doubles because she and her sister played doubles for many, many years before they kind of broke away to focus on their singles career. That's what the Pliskova sisters were noted for, their doubles play. But Bezos is a doubles phenomenon. Her volleys are spectacular.
She came out. She looked like, have you ever seen when, you have a dog and you keep the dog and you haven't fed the dog for I don't want to put her down, she's not a dog, but
oh my God.
She was chomping at the bits.
Who was that?
Barbara, she was ready for that doubles. She didn't care who they put over because she was ready for that doubles match and that focus and determination.
Yeah.
She was it was almost like she was just like, Carolina, we got this. This
was personal for Bezos. She wanted this.
And Russia had a very solid team in Pavlyuchenkova and Vesnina. They are very accomplished doubles players themselves. And Bezos
Pabs?
Yes, she's a pretty good doubles player. Yeah.
Vesnina, but not Pabs.
Pabs have played decent doubles. Come on, I'm not saying she's. Wasn't she an alternate for doubles?
When?
Recently, I'm sure I read that somewhere.
If anything, they should have had. If Sveta was healthy, it should have been Sveta and Vesnina.
Yeah.
Because Sveta is an accomplished doubles player.
That I know. She's much more than Pab. But I thought Pab. Everyone is blaming Pab.
With that serve, I never seen Pabs on the net.
Yeah.
I even hit the swing volley.
Oh, Pabs. Is Pabs the one that's taking? Is Pabs the one that's going to go down in flames? Is she the one that's going to get blamed?
But I think Pabs did as best as she.
Oh,
I mean,
well.
played Kvitova, and Kvitova was just like, after she took that first set, Kvitova was just like, girl, she couldn't serve properly. She was just,
She hasn't been able to serve properly for years.
and she's throwing down 30-something% serve, and
Exactly.
Kvitova was just like, I'm picking a spot. It was just like, I'm pointing to a place in the court, and I'm going for that shot.
You know the problem with the Russian tennis.
I don't think they had a good team.
Russian tennis has the same problem that they have now that they had in the years of Dementieva. Nobody can serve consistently for any extended period of time.
Well, that's obvious because you know what?
But their ground strokes are phenomenal.
Right.
They are really good ball strikers. They're really good off the ground. They move well and everything like that. But their serve is just, they need a serving coach.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I think that's probably not the biggest news that came out of Russia this week, though.
You mean the fact that they're all doping?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, this is. I mean, but this is. Do you think? I mean, this was something I really. I mean, we may have to save this for a longer podcast. But what impact will this have on tennis? I mean, are we supposed to assume that the doping was happening in isolation only in athletes?
It was only track and field. Nothing in tennis. We don't dope in tennis because it's a game of skill.
Yeah, we so cannot get into that right now.
Okay.
We just can't. So congratulations to the Czech Republic for actually didn't they defend their title?
They defended.
Right on that?
I think this is their ninth title.
3-time defending champions or some sort.
Well done, ladies. Well done. And we aren't we actually going to be back just here in a couple days with Andreen? Are we doing that?
My hope is that we'll be able to get together again on Friday when I think the universe should be locked up. We should know who's making up the groups. Same time, same bat channel, probably a bit later.
We're going to find out who's going to meet Nole?
Look, I imagine.
Oh, ye of little faith.
I imagine
Nole's the only guaranteed player, right? Nole's the only guaranteed player that
I mean, that's how I feel, but you know, let's wait and see.
It's gonna be the Nole World Tour soon.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? He still won't be the fan favorite, so it doesn't matter. Andreen, Deborah, thank you guys so much for staying up late to chat with us.
Go to bed. Thank you.
Damn, why are you gonna do that? We never are going to get any Nole fans on here.
That's okay. I'm fine with that.
Look. And World Tour Final O2 Arena, please put out some Serbian flags, okay? Please.
There's some Serbian. You know, have they ever thought about the fact that maybe everyone's bought all the Serbian flags?
No one bought the Serbian flags. They were never out. But can I just say something? Because I saw it on Twitter, and it's relevant to what we're talking about right now. Check this out. No, wait a minute. Tweet I just read right now from Renee Feld, whatever. Imagine that the Stefan Edberg Award was renamed the Roger Federer Award after Federer retires, and then Djokovic won it in a couple of years from now. Oh, God! Let the tennis gods be with us. Okay, I think that's the perfect place to end.
I just want to say that.
I want Novak Djokovic to get up there and say, you know, this award means a lot to me because he was a former colleague of mine, and I always wanted to emulate the way he conducted himself on the court, and it just does my heart so good to find an award in my hand because you really like me. You really like
me. You loved me.
Oh, God.
Anyone else but me.
All right, guys.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and I have to say,
and the Dream Girls. Effie and Dream Girls.
Oh no, Effie, no. Effie was the best singer. We're not going to give.
Oh my God.
I just have to say, Ladies, thank you for putting on a good show, Fed Cup, because y'all saved the drama for the very last rubber and for the last set. That was very good of you, you know. People can't say shit about you.
Let's just hope that Andy Murray has more success than Maria Sharapova did.
Hey.
Listen. These are trying moments. Oh my God, these are trying moments.
These are Hall of Fame moments.
Yes,
right here.
yes, I'm clapping.
These
What I like though, I do like that Fed Cup and Davis Cup is kind of emerging as these latter day anointment. These like
I'm telling you,
It's some bullshit.
look, I know Andy Murray was secretly hoping for Maria to win so he can get a ticket into the Hall of Fame. I'm just saying. He needs this Davis Cup accreditation. He needs that to be placed up there as a pivotal thing in his career so he can get that sleeve on his resume. Anyway,
right.
Thank you, ladies. We kept it to like an hour. I think it was really good. Enjoy your time in London. Have a good night. And my lovely other co-hosts, you know, Janina and Rich B. Karen. Thank you and good night, ladies.
Good night.
Nice.
Don't forget to comment and tweet us and, you know, refollow us and send us all over the
Thank
world.
you, Deborah.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you for being with us, Debbie. Yes. Good night. Good night.